Sound the alarms. Sonic fans are mad. So recently, we got a tiny update on Sonic's model from a language screenshot officially posted to Instagram. But the reaction from not just Sonic fans, but Sonic creators is wild. People are really upset over the Sonic Frontiers models and animations, and for some good reasons, but mostly bad ones. Many people are certain this is the Forces model and animations in the game. And I have some info that will shed some light on what we'll actually see in Frontiers, as well as why we're seeing it. And I'll get to it all. But first, I have something to quickly tell you. Today's video is brought to you by Surfshark. Imagine you open up Netflix wanting to watch the hit show, The U.S. Office, aka the better version, but you also live in the U.S. What are you going to do? Well, what if I told you that, ironically, The U.S. Office is still up? Wow. But it's only on UK Netflix. And this is the case for thousands of shows out there. However, now with Surfshark, you can reroute your connection to anywhere in the world. And you'll have the whole globe's worth of content at your fingertips. Content blocks? Be gone. Plus, that dirty little internet provider of yours is watching your every move. And yes, even when using incognito, it's easy to connect, and I've been using it on my desktop, and literally, once I turn it on, I don't even know it's there. Surfshark loves me so much that they've worked to give me their literal best deal ever. If you use the code SONIC, you get an 83% discount and 3 extra months for free. Links in the description, code SONIC, check it out. Support's not just me, but yourself. Ad over. So let's start with what made Sonic Twitter an almost unusable place this past couple days. Because Sonic fans are trying their hardest to take us back into the fires of March 2020. So it all started with a piece of good news. Yay! But warning, it spiraled into negativity quickly. So this all starts with SEGA posting the languages Sonic Frontiers will be available in. Here it is. And look down there. Yep, that's our boy. It's very small, and I noticed it super early, like right when it was posted, but I wasn't going to make a video on that itself because what is there to say? Okay, cool. Tiny image that shows us really nothing. However, Sonic fans felt differently because this small image became the topic of rhetoric from literally every single Sonic creator. I'll add my own thoughts at the very end because obviously my take is the most based, as I am the based Sonic News Raccoon. But let's first cover the hottest take I've seen from any creator. So Chaomix, whom I love, no hate on him, tweeted this, and it states a sentiment I'm seeing a lot of people regurgitating. OMG guys, it's just a model. Sonic is Sonic. As long as it's animated well, that's all that matters. You sure about that? And he posted the change from the redesign in the original Sonic movie trailer, and a lot of people in the replies are like, what? Because I don't think this is an apt comparison. I think a more fitting comparison, since it's something so subtle, would be them boosting the saturation in Sonic Force's gameplay to make it feel more alive and more like Generations. And there's a whole thread of these replies. I'm definitely not going to read them all, but the one that stuck out to me is the one that I'm hearing said the most. It is by far the most confusing for me. And it really goes beyond just, oh no, Sonic's quills are 2 centimeters shorter. It's the entire sentiment that SEGA seems to be okay with copy-pasting the neutered model and animations created for Forces. Really? That's how you're going to do Sonic for his grand 30th anniversary game? And I'll go into the animations in particular in a minute, but I want to first address all the people who keep saying,
SEGA copy-pasted the Forces animation and model.
Which is so odd and totally unproven. And I have a lot of answers, and I think by the end of this, we might feel a little bit more relieved about the in-game model. The game itself is a different story. So here it is. When you compare it side by side with Forces, it looks pretty similar. However, if you also notice, looking at the level run-throughs they did, they're literally all empty. Now, maybe the final game will just be empty, but I'm pretty sure that won't be the case. If that were to happen, Sonic as a brand would find himself in a similar situation to Balan Wonderworld. And that's a bad place to be. Now, to give a point towards these people, I will say this model probably isn't final, but it's likely very close. Don't expect drastic changes. This is Roger's Sonic, and SEGA likes to have a certain look associated with each iteration. And this has the same team and director behind it as previous ones, So I think it will fall into that line as far as aesthetics go. I don't expect a whole 180 of his model, and this might even be the final one, but how after seeing it in non-gameplay for 3 seconds are you going to not only criticize the model, but the animations too? Also, I am 100% for anyone voicing their opinion, but it's a little frustrating to see hordes of people shouting it when it's based on nothing. Like, imagine if I said, I can't stand X person, and people understandably go,
why do you feel this way?
And I just go, I don't know, I do. I'll cover it a little bit more towards the end, but I think we haven't seen enough to be able to properly critique and analyze these models and animations that we haven't seen at all. Like, literally, we haven't seen the animations. We saw him standing still looking over the horizon.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
And I'll give my opinion in a second, but while editing, Fidel Gamescage, pretty much the GOAT, made a response video to Chaomix's tweet, and I think his points are super valid and align a lot with my thoughts on it as well. So I'll play that here.
I'm not saying like we shouldn't be concerned or whatever, but like in my opinion, until we see the character in motion, I don't think it's fair to have a conversation when all we know is the character standing on a rock. You know what I mean?
Now, I'll quickly give my opinion, as this is my platform, and I think I have probably one of the more educated takes with how much I've been looking at this stuff. Also, referring to educated like above fans, not creators. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. But yes, Sonic fans, I'm definitely more educated than you, sorry. One of Chaomix's points is that this matters because it's personal to you, and I think he's right. This does matter, but I don't think the newer Sonic looks bad at all. I think in the example of Sonic movie, where the first one is horrendous, horrific, any synonym, just bad, while this one looks like marketable Sonic. His spines are slightly shorter. Totally different. In fact, I definitely believe there is such thing as too long of quills. And I'll go into it in a second, but I have stats to back me up. I don't know why we are trying so hard to creatively gatekeep Sonic Team, who already might be one of the most creatively gatekept teams of all time. Like, okay, if they make his quills longer, will the gameplay be better? Obviously not. Also, with a movie, I'm looking at it. All that matters is visuals. With a video game, you have to consider there's a lot more in play than what looks nice. For example, 99% of the time when you're looking at Sonic in 3D, you're looking at him from the back perspective. With longer spines, you'd see less of his expressions, and it would be in the way of his twitchy, fast movements that you're making. Likely one of the reasons they made them shorter in the first place. Also, I'm not defending these previous games, as the meta era was filled with 2.5D, which is my absolute pet peeve. And there's a lot more problems with those games like those, but I don't think the quills are one of them. At analytic_art did a mini analysis document that shows something I personally agree with regarding the model. It has this picture, and with it, it says, Sonic honestly looked very top-heavy from Unleashed to Generations. And with the shorter quills he has now, it has better symmetry in my eyes, if that makes any sense. And I mean, they're really not that short. To say they are feels very hyperbolic TBH. Also, in Lost World Onward, he isn't actually shorter in height. It's just his upper torso is a smidge bigger than before. And I totally agree. Here's another comparison picture, and I feel like I could just poke him in the head and knock him over. I do like the higher contrast and more saturated colors more, and I also think that's part of the subconscious reason people think it looks better. There's another page all about the colors, which I feel is a lesser deal TBH, especially since the entire game is much more saturated, not just the model. So it's certainly a global setting that can be raised. Analytic Art also made another graphic with text that says, also, the thing about Force's model is that from what I've noticed, despite Sonic's fur color being a lighter shade of blue, the model makes up for it by having Sonic's fur react to the game's lighting engine. Depending on the lighting in each area/stage he's in some levels he has a lighter shade of blue, and in others he has a more darker shade of blue that we usually see from Sonic depending on the lighting in each area/stage he's in. An honestly really cool detail that Forces has on a graphical standpoint, which is something I agree with. Guys, I shouldn't even have to tell you this. Lighting affects how color is perceived. So obviously different lighting will have different effects on their looks. I agree that it's a cool technical feature he has, and if he goes into a dark cave, it only makes sense that he isn't perceived as a light shade of blue when there's not enough light for that to be realistic. I think a big reason people can't stand the Forces model is the lack of animations, but that's an entirely separate issue. I think conflating those together is doing a huge disservice to yourself and your audience if you have one. We don't need to set off the code red panic alarm over the Quills being a nanometer too short. And Sonic's color not matching the exact right shade of blue isn't much better. But I will give you guys 1 point. Animations are a major part of characters feeling right. And if they fail to have a variety of animations to make Sonic feel more alive, that would be a major L for Sonic Team. You don't even notice it, but all these pre-made animations are just playing in cues. And to our eyes, it just looks natural. But without the animations, it looks unnatural. Especially because regardless on how you feel about the game, Sonic Omens had one of the best Sonic animations I've ever seen. So much so that he does different poses, including the iconic SA1 pose, while in midair. These subtleties are so important to making the character feel more alive. But right now, this fury is all over nothing. Spoiler, we have only seen a 2-second shot where he's supposed to be standing still, looking over the horizon. A common trope in these open world adventure games. Obviously, he's not going to be like Fortnite dancing, so I don't know what people expect. They want him to do a little idle dance while standing there? Like, I don't know, it's 2 seconds. Also, yes everyone, the still photo that was zoomed in on isn't moving. So it's kind of bizarre to judge how animated he'll be on a still image. Like, actually insane behavior here. I personally just don't think seeing him stand in an intentional way twice means he'll have no animations. But rather, it means that they found this to be like his main defining pose for this game. Sonic from behind, looking at the vast landscapes in front of him. Sonic 06 had him reaching his hand out and doing the little run thing. Sonic in the Black Knight had him standing with the sword. Also, one last thing about the Quills. If you actually look closely at the CGI trailer, his Quills are the long ones Sonic fans are saying they want. Honestly, maybe even longer than before. However, it was animated by Marza, a different studio. But looking at other trailers, they previously ended up matching too, so who knows? I think voicing your opinion is great, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. However, we haven't even seen gameplay. Sonic fans zoomed in on a background photo and a language options announcement. Also, by the way, it's so small and compressed, I'm not even sure if it's in-game or concept art. This might not even be a render. Nothing to get upset about. Not saying you can't get upset, because again, you're entitled to your opinions. Just saying, maybe put a little patience in your upsetness. Trust me, I'm not fake positive. If this looks bad, I'll be the first to let you know. And I might have some bad news in the near future about that. I understand that even though it's little, doesn't mean it's insignificant at all, but it sort of does. Like sure, everyone and everything are important as long as it's important to someone. But has a great Sonic game ever had its quality dampened by the model in it? I've never heard anyone say, golly gee, I love Sonic Unleashed, but his shoes are just too bright of a shade of red, ruined the game, 2 out of 10. Like, no. Sure, it can matter to you, but I wouldn't be surprised when the rest of the world goes, why would I care at all? I think people should express their rawest and honest opinions, but I also think people should respond with their raw opinions too. I actually love discourse like this, and like I said earlier, no hate to Chaomix. I enjoy his video essays and he seems like a good dude overall, despite the fact that 90% of my audience can't understand my tone and probably thinks I hate him or something, I don't know. I'm dropping another big video soon that I've been working really hard on. I was initially going to tack it onto this, but it seemed like it didn't really relate enough, and the script was literally triple the length of a regular video, so I thought I'd give you guys more content. Yay! Follow my Twitter. I post funny memes I make there, and more importantly, I also have a Discord. I've been doing games and stuff like Jackbox and Among Us there, and I'm trying to be more active and grow a kind of new VC community. So if you're a chill person, go head over and join our community. The Sonic Show is the #1 source of all Sonic news, and if you're not subbed and belled with all notifications on, you're gonna miss out on all the Sonic news, and that's just sad. Go check out the sponsor, they support me so I can survive. Yay! Also, another huge thank you to Chaomix for making a hot take and standing behind it. I said this before, Sonic tubers with balls, best thing ever. To the Sonic tubers without them, y'all are kinda lame, not gonna lie. And the biggest thank you to Chaomix for giving me content. Lots of love to literally almost every single person who made it here. Peace!